Hi, Achim from InnerSpace Explorers. I've been asked a couple of times if I could talk a little bit about my Rebreather Bailout strategies, because in former videos there was something about the Rebreather with side mount, the Rebreather with normal stages, so why I do what I do. I would like to start this on a practical example. There was a submarine that I dove quite a bit and that I wanted to penetrate. So regarding the depth, it would have been a good rebreather dive, would have made things a lot easier and especially cheaper considering costs of gas. And the problem here is the penetration is super narrow. So obviously the most convenient way of doing it is in a set of doubles, because you can clip everything off. So I don't want to start a discussion here if it's clever to clip off stages in an underwater environment before penetration, etc., etc., etc. Just for that dive, the only way to do that in a proper way is clearly without the stages. So the dive required a bottom stage and 2 decompression stages, so you definitely do not penetrate a submarine with 3 stages on your side. So what I did is I dove to the submarine in a bottom stage, clipped off everything and started the penetration in a full set of doubles. Then you can apply whatever safety rule you feel comfortable with, thirds, fourth, sixths, whatever. And it's basically like a cave dive in doubles, nothing wrong with that. So if you do the same thing in a rebreather, you can also clip off your deco stages, but you cannot clip off your bailout tank. So you definitely have this additional stage, which in that submarine could be a bit of an issue. And that's when I started thinking about, hey, why not side mounting it? Because if you think about the normal stage, the way it hangs, it's like this. So you always have this part in front of you. And if you take a side mount cylinder, you can obviously have a complete clean front. Makes sense. So on top of that, considering that the rebreather in general is a little bit more bulky, especially from a psychological standpoint of view, because you have more vulnerable parts here with the breathing hoses, etc. That's probably not what you want to bump into some sharp overhead environment, whatever. Whilst the double 12 usually takes this without any problems. So if I manage to get rid of the stage in the front of me and side mount that tank, I can really go all the way to the front of my body if I want to squeeze through somewhere and the stage is not in the way. So that was the initial thinking. Especially with like the small cylinders, this is a very streamlined, very nice setup. And then also I do not recommend that. There is obviously in real life there's a lot of mixed team diving. So especially when you take the rebreather and do a shallow recreational dive somewhere, there's always a good chance there's somebody with you that's an open circuit. So now suddenly we talk about being able to donate gas to an open circuit diver, which in a rebreather scenario, we talked about that in a past video, is not really the case, because a rebreather diver out of gas, how? It's not really possible. So worst case, the rebreather is out of rebreather if the rebreather has an issue, but then he has his own bailout. So it's very unlikely you donate gas to a rebreather diver. So we're talking about the mixed team. Obviously you want a solution for that. And so what I did for a while is I took, on recreational dives, I took 2 of these 40 cubic feet cylinders and rigged them in a classical side mount long hose concept. And that was the left side, which is normally our backup, had a short hose with a necklace, which was sitting right here like in our open system. And the right tank had a long hose that was kind of stuffed and ready to donate. So if there was an open circuit diver that had an issue without gas, I could always deploy the hose and then hand over that stage, and I still had my backup, which was then already here. So a lot of people will go like, oh, this is against standard and this is not what's in the ISE manual, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, true, but for me it's all about being open-minded. You want to experiment and test and figure out what works and what doesn't work, and that way also create the standards for the agency, right? I mean, ISE is known for being open. We started with side mount and rebreathers and all of this being in this DIR bubble. But as I said, for me this is not staying still. This is about being open-minded and develop. And if something's better, then switch and do the thing that you consider is better. And that's why I started playing around with that, and I shared some of that on my videos, and then obviously people get crazy and like, ooh, what is he doing there? And so probably it's a good point to, or a good time to talk a little bit about that. Fact is, if I use the rebreather for technical dives, mixed gas dives, it's obviously no mixed teams, it's always another rebreather diver, and then obviously I dive it with stages, because as I said, 2 side mounts is the maximum, and then that doesn't really make any sense anymore. So then it's a classical setup as you know it, for example from the 3 stages video. And for those of you who are ISE trained, I mean, you know the procedures. So you have oxygen 50, if you have a third decompression gas, then 2135 or something like that. Eventually a bottom stage, which then would be my deep bailout with the bottom gas, and that is carried exactly the same as you would carry it in an open circuit scenario. The reason is I use the rebreather generally for deep technical stuff and rarely dive it on a recreational, and if I dive it on a recreational setup, then rarely mixed teams. So fortunately all the people that I like to dive with that are in my era all dive the same setup, they all dive a KISS. So if we either go all open circuit or we all go KISS, so this Sidemount experiment kind of vanished. But I thought it was important to talk about it and explain a little bit why I did it and what the thoughts behind were, and yeah, hope that clarified the questions. If you have any further questions on this Sidemount thing, on the KISS, on the training of the KISS that we do, whatever, please feel free to contact me. Use the comment section if you want to discuss that in detail or want to have some private chat. Check out the Petrot site, that's where we normally do that. Otherwise, I appreciate if you give us thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider so, and if you subscribe, don't forget to click this little bell so you get a notification when I upload new content. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.